a bus from Kathmandu to Savrabesi, which took about 8 hours. After the long, exhausting, and possibly one of the worst bus rides, we arrived at Savrabesi. Savrabesi is a small town with many hotels and restaurants. You can easily find a room with attached bathroom, hot showers, Wi-Fi, and electricity for about $6 to $10. The Langtang trek starts from Savrabesi at the elevation of 1500 meters. Langtang Valley Trek introduces the Tibetan culture, traditional people, and the natural beauties of the Great Himalayas. Langtang is likely the nearest major trek from Kathmandu and is not as crowded as Annapurna or Everest Trek. The trek goes through the narrow valley which runs east to west, wedged between dramatic 6,000 to 7,000 snow-capped peaks, of which Langtang Lirung is the highest at 7,227 meters. We met few local kids who are going back to school in Kathmandu. Langtang village lies directly beneath the south face of Langtang Lirung. South face of the mountain consists of large glacier and frozen lakes hanging just above the Langtang village. There used to be a river coming down from frozen lake, but the landslide was so huge that it wiped out the river and bridges in complete totality, as if they never existed. It looked as if the side of the mountain is plucked off, and it took down the giant boulders, frozen lakes, and glaciers. The Langtang village is entirely covered in rubble. The devastation is so huge that you can hardly find a single shred of evidence that this used to be a village. I have never seen such devastation before. It was complete annihilation. It is estimated that 40 million tons of rocks and ice funneled down the Langtang village, wiping everything but one house. This house is so close to the cliff that it almost looked as if it is inside the mountain cave on the north side of the valley. The house is mostly standing still since the landslide passed over the house. The house now sits as a stark reminder of calamity and feels haunted, and I wouldn't be surprised if the house is haunted. On the other side of the valley, the trees were flattened for a few kilometers. This should give you an idea of the air pressure which was created during the landslide. around 9,000 people died during Nepal earthquake. This tiny Langtang village accounted for 243 of them. May they rest in peace. A new Langtang village is being built less than quarter mile above the ruins of the old Langtang. The new Langtang village looks marginally safer than the old one because it is not directly under the Langtang Lirung but still carries a significant risk of landslide. In new Langtang village, new tea houses are being built, though they might be more basic than the other tea houses in the area. We decided to stay in the new one to support these resilient people, but honestly, thoughts creeping my mind on whether something is going to happen that night. Luckily, it was uneventful. Oh, by the way, the small girls that we met on our way happened to be the daughters of our host. Talk about a small world.
यहाँ को बस्नुहुन्छ?
हामी बुढी हामी दुईजना
हजुर अनि तपाईको पहिलो घर कता थियो बाजे?
पहिलो घरका यो होटल छ होटल कता छोरा कता बुहारी कता सबै थप
तपाईँ चाहिँ के कहाँ हुनुहुन्थ्यो भूकम्प जाँदा?
ओडामा
ओडारमा?
यो ओडारो बाजे?
हो
हजुर
अनि बुढी नि तपाईको
यो ओडाको भित्रमा घर छ नि हो पनि हो दगो ठुलो ओडामा
अनि छोराहरू कहाँ थियो त्यति बेला?
छोराहरू यो त छ
भूकम्पले
छोरा नाति नाति दिगोला छोरा मेरो साली बुहारी चौरी पाँचजना पाँचवटा
He was also selling yak milk, so I decided to try one, but I ended having few glasses. As you can tell, it was good. His yak also gave birth to 4 baby yaks 5 days ago, which were adorable.
अनि बाजेको यो
We chatted with the tea house owner where we had lunch. Mules are a very common means of transportation in this part of the world, and they can carry up to 30 kilos. Money walls can be found all over the trekking routes of the Himalayas. They are inscribed with the mantra Om Mane Padme Hum and includes many prayer flags along the way. trek from Langtang village to Gangchhempo is very beautiful with the best scenery on the trek so far. We could finally see snow peaks, turquoise-colored river, stupas, yaks, and great lookouts. After reaching the Gangchhempo, you can plan for a day trip to the Langtang Lirung glaciers like Langsisa Ri, Yala Peak Base Camp, and Gangchhempo Ri. You can also visit Government Cheese Factory and the Buddhist monastery over there. We were so excited to get there that we decided to climb Gangchhempo Ri the moment we reached Gangchhempo. The trails is not particularly well marked, so you are kind of on your own, but it's not too bad. If you take the correct route, you should come across lower Gangchhempo Ri before you get to the top. It is relatively tough hike, but once you get to the top of Gangchhempo Ri at 4600 meter, you will be rewarded with a spectacular view. The weather wasn't very favorable, but luckily clouds decided to disappear at least for a few minutes. From the top, we could see Gangchhempo, mountain ranges, and snow peaks. It was very beautiful. The next morning at 5 a.m., we started to head to Cheguri, situated at little above 5,000 meter. We were a bit worried about the altitude as this is our first time being in such a high altitude. For some reason, I didn't sleep well and woke up with a little bit of a headache, but nonetheless, we decided to continue. Cheguri is the conical shaped peak which overlooks Gangchhempo from the east. We were completely assured and excited that the panorama view from the top is well worth the effort. Langtang trekking with Cheguri Peak ascent is one of the easier trekking peaks for beginner mountaineers for climbing in Langtang region. In addition, the trails are less crowded and well marked. We finally reached the top of Cheguri in Langtang's remote upper part, which is one of the best viewpoints in the Langtang National Park. For a relatively simple, non-technical climb, from the summit we can see Langtang Lirung, 7,234 meter, is the highest peak in the park, towering above the valley we just came from. Besides Langtang Lirung, there are other peaks such as Gangchhempo, 6,388 meter, Dorje Lakpa, Langsisa Ri, Yubra Himal, Naya Khang, Sisapangma, and Yala peak around. The 360 view of snow-capped mountain is absolutely breathtaking and something not to forget about. Sisa Pangma is the 14th highest mountain in the world at 8,227 meters or 26,335 feet above sea level. It was the last 8,000-meter peak to be climbed due to its location entirely within Tibet and the restriction on visits by foreign travelers to the region imposed by authorities of the government of China and the Tibet Autonomous Region. A memorial was erected in the remembrance of 243 people and their names are inscribed. It has prayer flags and wheels to spin. All of their names are now recorded on the memorial money wall, which consists of 175 villagers, 27 local tourism staff, guides and porters, and 41 foreign trekkers. Most people died in Langtang village during earthquake, but few people survived because they stayed inside the house since they cannot run, whereas young people went outside and got engulfed by the landslide. If you want to help Langtang and its people, I highly recommend supporting through the tourism as it allows the people of Langtang to become self-reliant and make their own living. However, on the other hand, if you want to volunteer or just donate, please do a proper research first.
कतिजना छोराछोरी थियो बाजे तपाईँको
मेरो लाभासँग मेरो जेठो छोरा
हजुर
नटु
हजुर
अनि दुःख आयो
अरू कतिजना छोराछोरी थियो तपाईँको एउटा मात्रै छोरा हो
छोराले एउटा अब माथि
लाङटाङ
कता छोरा लागामा भयो जेठो भयो
अब कोही पनि छैन
नाति छँदै छ
छोरीहरू छैन हजुरको हजुर
छोरी एउटा होइन दुई वर्ष
छ
केजिङ गुम्पामा हजुर 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 अनि आमा कहाँ जानुभयो नि
म बस्न कहाँ जानु सक्दैन खुट्टा दुख्छ
ए खुट्टा दुख्छ
बुढो भयो 82 वर्ष भयो कहाँ जानु सक्छ
बजे कहाँ जानुभयो नि
बजे
बजे कता जानुभयो
अहिले
हजुर तपाईँको बुढी कता जानुभयो
चौरी जानु
कहाँ कता जानुहुन्छ टाढा
उता
यहाँ तल
यो खोलो
अनि बाजे यहाँ बाजे र बजे मात्र तपाईँ र तपाईँको बुढी मात्र बस्ने बाजे यहाँ कति बस्छ अनि यताबाट कस्तो भएको थियो बाजे यता माथि कस्तो ढुङ्गाहरू खसेको थियो कस्तो भएको थियो जग्गा त
कति यो त बाटो आयो छ त
है कि ढुङ्गा खसेको थियो बाजे ठुल्ठुलो ढुङ्गा खसेको थियो कस्तो भएको थियो हजुर हजुर
आथ्यो होला है सबै
सबै खोलातिर लग्यो
मान्छे देखेन
है
मान्छे देखेन
अनि यो मान्छेहरू पुरिएको अनि ढुङ्गा गरेर निकाल्यो कि के गर्यो बाजे कि निकालेन
निकोले मान्छे पाएन जग्गा कहाँ निको जान्छ
है
हाम्रो घरको मान्छे कता गयो
हजुर हजुर
टुरिस्ट कता गयो
है
हाम्रो